mercifully read from someone who was a professor who thinks all knowledge comes in 50-minute segments. But here's why this is so good today. We need to understand that all students learn differently, and the age of the industrial school is over. Remember, in the industrial age school, we treated students the way we treated products to prepare them for the industrial age. We assumed that everyone could be treated and taught the same way. We assumed that everything was going to be done through a standardized, synchronized approach. Well, times have changed, and we need to make sure that we offer various alternatives to schools based on the fact that today our economy isn't based on standardization, isn't based on synchronization, but is based on customization, and is based on understanding that both virtual and standardized uses of time are essential. That's essential in the economy, and it's also essential as we prepare people for this new economy, isn't it? So the old school was preparing people for the old age, and thus the school was based, like a company, based on standardization and synchronization. Everyone had to be in that seat at the same exact time. We based learning on minutes you sat there. The teacher had to teach a class with a variety of learning types from their students. It was sort of like the Three Little Bears story, you know? We knew we were probably only getting a third of the students really educated because, you know, it was too cold, too hot. In essence, like the Three Little Bears, are too fast, too slow, and it was only just right for about a third of the class. So what your school has done, which is wonderful, and I want to be here, is that you are allowing those students who can't learn well in certain situations to have an alternative. We are not, in essence, customizing the education for the students through this cyber school. And additionally, I might add that I see public school after public school now realizing that the key for them is to create what is called a hybrid approach. That to use both the virtual approach and the physical approach. In other words, to combine both types of space in terms of learning. Okay? Now, this school has been especially successful. And I remember when it was formed, because when charter schools started, the school community, the public school community in this county, said we want to make sure that cyber education is of the highest quality. And the way we do it is that we form a board with educators on it. We have the superintendents, we have other educators on the board, and then we're going to create something that meets the needs of each student, customizes it, but at the same time we know is of the highest quality. And that's exactly what you've done. You should be very proud of it. You have the highest highest SAT score, I believe, of any charter school in this Commonwealth, whether they are cyber or not. And that's something you should be congratulated on. And that's what happens when you have people who know education, who are professionals, run a school. The trouble, in my judgment, with many of the cybers and cyber charters elsewhere in the state is some of them are being run for profit. Some of them do not have professional educators run them. You know, everyone thinks in Harrisburg, all you have to do is easy to teach. You know, it's not so easy to teach. And maybe I could put that story, give you an example. They were going to, I remember a hearing where they were going to replace the school nurses who have to have a certificate, because school nursing is different than an RN nurse or an LPN nurse would be. They were going to replace them with LPNs. The first problem they had is that LPNs can't give medication, but they said, oh, we'll change the Caring Act, you know, the Act of Appropriate Care. But I finally ended it by looking at the lawyer who was representing the council in one of the departments, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'll vote for this bill if you allow us to replace our solicitors with paralegals in every department. And it's the same situation in education. People don't understand that it takes some skill to teach, that we have to, that especially, it's not an easy task, okay? So, you also are doing very well on your whatever the student profile, SPPs, I guess, School Performance Profile, and better than any other cyber charter. And by the way, the best thing they could do is do away with most of this testing to begin with. Starting with the keystone, and you will see accountability, yes. Testing for remediation, yes. Testing simply for the purpose of testing, and testing for the purpose of graduation. No, tests were never meant for punishment. They were meant so we could remediate and assist the student to achieve it. We want accountability, but we don't want testing simply for its own sake. And it's completely out of hand, and there'll be various bills I and other legislators are putting in which will get some control out of this situation. And you know, the problem is Washington has the people who are designing these tests in Washington, even in Harrisburg, they've never been in a classroom in their lives. And we need to get control back to the people who understand education. So in sum, it's good to be here. I congratulate you on this major accomplishment. I congratulate you on being the best cyber charter school in the Commonwealth and one of the best in the nation. And I congratulate the school districts of this community who understood from day one when cyber started that yes, cyber education is going to increase. Yes, some students learn best in that atmosphere. Yes, at the very least, we're going to have a hybrid approach in all of our schools, and that is now beginning, whether they be public or private or cyber. And if we're going to do it, we better do it right. And the way to do it right is to have people who know what they're doing take care of it. And that's exactly what has happened in this school. I can really recommend any students to come here. They're going to get a great education because we've made sure that our teachers, our administrators know education and know how to teach to the top of the curriculum and how to make sure that every student is a success. And that's what education should be all about. And thank you for being part of that effort to achieve excellence in the education of every single youngster in this Commonwealth. Thanks again.